Welcome to the Mindful Mama podcast, where we navigate controversial topics, deep dive into life-changing stories, and engage in meaningful conversation. Join us in embracing the beauty of mindful motherhood. I'm your host, Corinne Adele. Hello, and welcome back to the Mindful Mama podcast. This is the first episode of season 3. How we are on season 3, I have no idea. I actually haven't sat down to film a podcast solo in months. I can't even tell you the last time I filmed a solo episode, so it just feels really good to be back and chatting with you guys. At the beginning of season 2, I kind of just did a little chatty video, life update type of thing, and I thought I would do that for season 3 as well to kick this off. I have nothing prepared, so this is all going to be like flying off of the seat of my pants, if that's the correct term. So we'll just see where it goes. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm sure you've noticed I finally have a flippin' background. It's taken me 3 seasons to get a background for my podcast, and it's not exactly in the middle right now, but I have super cute beeswax candles up here, and you guys can kind of get the gist of my gallery wall. I think it turned out super cute. If you want to see the full thing, I have a reel on Instagram that you can go check out, as well as on TikTok. I just think it's so beautiful. It represents me so well. There's something to represent each of my children on this gallery wall, as well as 2 birth photos. And then I also have a painting from the Hearthmother Journey school that I'm actually getting ready to graduate from in 2 weeks. And it is just like a birth keeper, Hearthmother painting. It's really beautiful up here. I've got a little bit of everything on here to represent my life, my kids, my passions, and it's just so stinking cute. The only thing that I would change is I wish that you guys could see my candles up here when I film, because I would love to light candles every time I film and have that kind of ambiance in the background, because I love me some beeswax candles. Now, speaking of the Hearthmother journey, might as well get into that. So last October, November, I decided to jump the gun and go ahead and enroll in the Hearthmother Journey program, which is a year-long birth worker course. It is online, but it is very intensive. We have weekly hearth calls with 2 mentors, one of them being a traditional midwife, one of them being a birth keeper. In order to graduate, you have to attend 3 births, as well as do an entire project. So I decided to do my project on miscarriage management, miscarriage healing. And so with that, I am providing miscarriage debriefs for women. You can do a one-on-one call with me and we can debrief your miscarriage. I also put together miscarriage resources for women, as well as an Amazon list of items that could be helpful for you if you are miscarrying at home. And then I'm also going to be doing podcasts on my miscarriage stories, and then just going into detail on what helped me. And it's just all very much miscarriage based. Back when I was going through my losses, I really wanted God to use my pain. I didn't want my losses to be for nothing, and it is finally coming into fruition with my school project. So I am working on my end of school assessment. We took an assessment at the beginning of school and we're redoing it again at the end of school, just to see how much we have changed. And then I have to write my story, the journey that God has taken me on over the year. I cannot believe it's over. I cannot believe a year has already gone by. Like, it is insane. It's insanity. I'm really sad, actually. I'm sad that Hearthmother journey is over. I actually missed our last hearth call because we were in Florida, and I'm kind of bummed about that. I can go back and rewatch it, but it's different when you're actually there live and get to chat with the ladies in the school, your same cohort. So I am going to have a couple of new certifications come mid-October, which is exciting. And if you don't know anything about the doula world, In America, you don't actually need any sort of certification to attend women in birth as a doula. You don't need anything. You can just call yourself a doula, walk in there, and support women. I know how big it is to attend women in birth. I just have so much awe and honor for birth that I knew I needed more than just a weekend course. Most doula trainings are a weekend course. And I did take an in-person 4-day training that I considered to be supplemental. I am very thankful for that course. I learned so much. I learned a lot about advocacy and a lot of like the physical ways to help support women, and got to practice all of that. And I think that class was phenomenal. I highly recommend, if you are in Spokane and you want to take the doula course that I took here in Spokane, send me a message and I'll let you know which course it was, because I highly recommend. It's phenomenal. But I still believe that it's supplemental for me personally. I don't think that you can be well enough equipped to enter the birth space by just taking a weekend course. There's just so much more spiritually, physically, emotionally that goes into being a birth worker. And that's why I wanted to do a year-long course as well as another supplemental course. I think I will always be taking like continuing ed courses and things like that, just because I love to learn. I love to be educated. And I think it's important as well. So I did attend my 3 births. They all happened like within a month of each other, which is crazy because I took on a July, August, and September birth, and they all happened literally within a month of each other. Boom, 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 which was crazy. And I just learned so much. And within my birth course that I'm getting ready to graduate from, they taught me to write birth reflections after every birth. And it's just such a good way to like debrief and to remember the birth stories of the women you attend. And also you can reflect on ways that you would change maybe what you did or things that went well. And I just love that because I don't think I would have thought to do that on my own. So I actually finished up my 3rd birth reflection last night. So it's just such an honor to attend women. And another life update, if you follow me on social medias, you probably know that my husband and I have been looking to move out of Washington State for a little over a year now. And we have had our eyes pretty much set on Florida for quite some time. Aiden actually flew out a year ago exactly to do not so much of an interview, but kind of like a meet and greet with a company over there. We just knew that we as a family needed to go visit Florida before making the final decision if we wanted to move there or not. So we finally were able to make our way to Florida. We actually just got back a few days ago, and we are pretty settled on the decision to move there. You guys hearing this are the very first people to hear that information. I have not shared that publicly at all. So we're probably going to make our way to Florida. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know the timeline of it, especially because I'm in my 2-week wait window right now, which means I very well could be pregnant. And if I am pregnant, I will have a summer due date. And that is very overwhelming to me, thinking about moving and having a newborn or moving in the 9th month of my pregnancy. So I kind of think we need to wait a little bit on our decision just to see if I am pregnant or not, to see when we would move. I have been kind of discussing this with some of my friends, like, okay, if I am pregnant, I would have like an end of June, early July update. Knowing me, I go like a week to 2 weeks past my due date, which means I'd have an early July baby. I just have such a village right now. I know exactly who I want to hire for my birth team. It's just like my next labor and delivery would be absolute perfection. And I cannot imagine like abandoning that for a move. So I kind of feel like I would want to deliver our baby here and then move with a fresh newborn. But then thinking about like packing up a home, finding a rental across the US, flying there, freshly postpartum. Oh My gosh, that sounds so overwhelming. So, all that to say, who knows if I'm even pregnant? I might not even be pregnant, okay? But that's just what's on my mind right now, coming back from our Florida trip, pretty much deciding that we do want to be there, and we are hoping to move next summer or spring, depending. We did also visit Arizona. Aiden's family lives there, and the thought of being close to family is very nice. So we did make a trip in June to visit Arizona, and we really loved it there as well. But there's just a lot of things about Arizona that do not check our list. I guess I could go over our list right now. Our list was basically good hunting because my husband is a hunter. We want to be close to the ocean. Good home birth / Crunchi community, good homeschooling options or like hybrid options for our kids. What else was on our list? Warm weather. I need the sunshine. I struggle in the winter. Coming home from our trip, I'm like instant blues because we're stepping straight into fall. And after fall is just the death zone for me. Leading up to spring, it's just months of just darkness and heaviness and cold and snow and bleh, and I don't do well with it. So Arizona does check several of those boxes for us, but it's the desert, it's not near water, and being near the ocean, it's just, I feel a calling to the ocean. I need to be near the ocean, a tropical ocean. I need to be able to go shelling like often. I need to be able to soak in a mineral rich body of water. I need golden skin. I need humidity. Anyways, we did visit Arizona and we did really like it. We actually thought about just not even visiting Florida and going straight to Arizona, but we decided we needed to follow our heart because Florida has been on our mind for a really long time. And like I said, last year, Aiden flew down to meet with a company and we just wanted to do like a full family trip. And it just pretty much solidified our wants and our desires to move there, which is very, very scary. It's very scary because I feel like I finally have a village here. I finally have really good friends in this area. My mom and her husband are actually moving back to Spokane, which feels kind of sad because they're moving back here and then we will be leaving probably like next summer-ish, depending. But who knows? Everything's up in the air. There's nothing that is like solidified for us yet. It's just all thoughts and hopes. We visited the Panhandle. We went to Pensacola, like Navarre, Gulf Breeze area, Destin. We loved it there. We loved the beaches. They're absolutely insanely stunning. Like, whoa, I've never seen such beautiful beaches in my life. But it's so small over there. They don't even have a Costco yet. Like they are just now building a Costco there. And if I am like really real with myself, I want the amenities. I want the nice grocery stores. I want the nice shopping areas. I want more opportunities for my kids, more like community, more hybrid school options, and obviously more options for my husband and more options for me as a content creator as well. So we are leaning more towards like Tampa or Orlando, the outskirts of those areas, or maybe somewhere in between. We would still be close to the beach, about an hour to 2 hours, depending on which beach we want to go to. And then we can just go visit the Gulf and the Emerald Coast multiple times a year because it's only like a 6+ hour drive to get there. And we did do that drive. We drove from Pensacola to Tampa. And it really wasn't that bad. We just made a few stops on the way. It all just depends on where Aiden would be able to get a job. But I do think that he would probably have a better chance of finding a good company in a bigger city. So we have no idea where we're going to end up. We have no idea when. But ultimately, that's kind of our plan right now. And I kind of threw a bomb in there and didn't really address it by talking about being in my 2-week wait window. Yeah, I'm in my 2-week wait window. We aren't really necessarily calling it trying. We're just not preventing we're enjoying our marriage. And I know people make fun of that because when I talked about doing that with Florence, people thought I was stupid and they were like, you are trying. But in comparison to trying to conceive Israel and trying to conceive Sicily, like it is a completely different feel. It's a completely different structure. Like with my older two kids, it was like obsessive. It was being intimate a million times during my ovulation window. It was very forced. It was very like not, what's the word I'm looking for? Like we were being intimate in order to conceive a baby. Like that was the goal. And with Flo, and now we wanted to take a more relaxed approach where we are just married and we just enjoy our marriage. We're not doing any sort of like tracking or being intimate because it's my ovulation window. It's more just like, okay, we are not going to prevent anymore and we will see if God is going to bless us with another baby. I will say, I have been having signs, possibly of baby number 4, okay? And this same thing happened to me 1 month before I found out I was pregnant with Florence. So I've been like logging all of these signs that I have been getting, and I'm really curious to see if I'll get a positive in a few weeks because I feel like with every single one of my babies, I was getting signs in my 2-week wait or a little bit before my 2-week wait. And so I'm just super curious if like the signs that I'm getting right now are because we're going to be pregnant or if it's just me being like hyper, I don't know, like wanting them to be signs. But regardless, some things have been happening. Some messages have been sent that I'm willing to receive. So we're gonna see what happens with this. I will say there's a lot of me that is very nervous about getting pregnant again. I have had losses in the past. I had a subchorionic hemorrhage with Florence. I have a lot of trauma from miscarriage. And once you have a loss, like the innocence and excitement of pregnancy is never the same. I will never experience pregnancy the way that I did with my first. Before having my losses, it's very terrifying for me to step into this knowing that I could have a miscarriage. It's very, very scary. That part of it is really scary for me. Florence is still nursing. She's still not sleeping through the night. Actually, last night is the first time she has ever slept through the night in her entire life. She will be 2 in a month, and last night's the first time she ever slept through the night. So I'm like, okay, is this going to become a thing? Was it a fluke? Is it because I'm going to be having another baby soon? Like, what is it? Whatever it is, I'll take it. I just also struggle with anxiety, specifically at night. I have a really painful pelvic condition in pregnancy called SPD. I actually have worse than SPD. I have legit pelvic separation, which makes pregnancy excruciating for me. When I was pregnant with Florence, I actually told myself I was not gonna have another baby, that she was my last, because the pain that I was experiencing was debilitating. I was considering getting a wheelchair. I felt housebound, bedbound, and God ended up healing me at about 30 weeks pregnant. So I'm believing that if he healed me once, he can heal me again. I actually found out in my pregnancy with Florence that the reason I have SPD is because I'm hypermobile. When you're hypermobile and you have relaxin in your body relaxes essentially too much, to the point where like your ligaments and muscles are trying so hard to hold your body together. And that's where the pain comes from. And the amount of PT that I had in Florence's pregnancy, I was seeing my chiropractor and my pelvic floor therapist every single week for the last couple weeks of my pregnancy. I was getting dry needling done. It's just a lot. It is a lot for me to be pregnant. Other than that, I have phenomenal pregnancies. My births are amazing. It's just the fear of miscarriage, which is huge and heavy, and experiencing debilitating pain for most of my pregnancy. It usually starts around 12 to 14 weeks, and then it just progressively gets worse and worse and worse. And then I also have pretty bad like acid reflux, which I hate. I hate it so much, but I combat that with papaya enzymes. I basically eat them like candy. So I'm excited for the possibility. I'm excited for birth again in the future. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I am also getting ready to take my first ever girls trip away from all of my kids in about a week. Me and my friend McKenna are headed to California. We're going to be going to Disneyland. Yes, I'm a Disney adult. I know I have been to Disney so many times within the past year. It's kind of crazy. But we both love Disney. We wanted to do a girls trip, and this is both of our first times leaving all of our kids. I'm a little bit nervous because, like I said, Florence is still nursing. She still wakes up multiple times a night. So either this is going to be horrible or it might begin the weaning process for her. And if it does, I'm going to lean into that. I'm not like 100% ready to wean her, but also I think I would be okay with it if this is how it's going to naturally occur for us. We will have to see how that goes. So I will keep you guys updated on that possible weaning process. I think regardless if I am pregnant this cycle, that I would want to start weaning her. Because I don't really want to be nursing through pregnancy. And usually in the past, I have never been able to be pregnant and nursing at the same time. I usually dry up really quickly. So I'm assuming that would happen again if I did get pregnant. The lighting is so off on this, guys. I am so sorry. Also, Florence is potty trained. She is my earliest baby to potty train. She started potty training at 22 months, or was it 21 months? 21 or 22 months. She actually was showing signs a lot earlier than that, but I kept thinking to myself, like, no, you're too young. You're still a baby. Like, you can't possibly potty train this early, which is kind of silly because years and years and years ago, babies were out of diapers way sooner than they are now. It was like totally normal for babies to be potty trained by like 18 months. And we've kind of become a little more lax about that over the years as humans in America. But she started really showing a lot more signs, and I was like, you know what, let's just give it a try and see how it goes. And I did. I leaned in and she did phenomenal. Her first week to 2 weeks, she didn't have any pee accidents at all. Poop was difficult. I had to fix the lighting because it was bothering me so much. I don't know why my settings were messed up, but they were. It was probably like 2 weeks that we had difficulty in that area, and now she just goes potty on her own. She tells us she needs to go potty, no issues. And she's doing phenomenal. On our Florida trip, I did decide to revert back to diapers when we were out and about because we were driving a ton. We did Disney World, like we were just all over the place. And honestly, I did not want the inconvenience. If I'm being totally honest, I did not want the inconvenience. And thinking about taking my 22-month-old, 23-month-old into dirty gas stations to have her go potty, I just couldn't do it. So when we were at the Airbnb, we had her take her diaper off and she did totally fine. I know a lot of people like wouldn't agree with that, but I'm very type B in my approach with a lot of things. I kind of go with the flow, and the entire trip, every time she had to go potty, she would tell us that she needed to go pee. I would give her permission to pee in her diaper. And then for number 2, she did not ever want to go in her diaper, so she went on the toilet. Now that we're back home, she is out of diapers again. She's doing totally fine. We've had no issues. And yeah, it's crazy that she is pretty much out of diapers. I do put diapers on her for nap time, and 99% of the time they are dry when she wakes up. And then I also do them at nighttime. I don't do any sort of special like night training. I never have. I have heard that it is like hormonally and developmentally something that naturally happens. That seemed to be true with my older kids. So I'm going to do the same approach with Florence, where once she starts having dry diapers naturally at night, that's when we will take diapers away at night. So that's pretty much my life update for you guys. I'm super excited for season 3. I've got a lot of guests that I have in mind for season 3. And I hope that you guys are excited. I know that a lot of people have been asking when I would bring the podcast back. It feels like it's been so long. So if you are interested in being a guest on this podcast, I also get questions about this too. Like most people are like, do I have to be an influencer? I don't have a following. No, you don't need anything but a story. If you have a story that you want to share, you can send me an email. It is workwithcorinne@gmail.com. You can find my email on my Instagram. There's a little button that says email, and you can click that to send me an email with the story that you're wanting to share. Come be a guest on my podcast. My whole vision for my podcast was just to have a platform for women to share their stories. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. And that concludes today's episode. If you found value in this conversation or resonate with it in any way, I'd love for you to leave me a review on whatever platform you're listening in on and share about it on social media. Your support means the world. For more content like this, you can follow me at Corinne Adele on all platforms. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.